Kuya here. I'm watching Live for Love TV. Live for Love TV, very educative program. Please subscribe, like, and share. Bless up, Aya.
Hello everybody, my name is Caleb and you're watching Live for Love TV. Like, share and subscribe. Thank you.
Welcome back to Live for Love TV. Today's the 24th day of the 3rd month of the 23rd year inside the 21st century. Hope everyone's doing well out there. Now it's been a minute, so I hope everyone's really doing well since I haven't seen you. I've been a bit busy, haven't been able to hit the YouTube up, so today I'm back on the scene. For how long I don't know. Maybe I'll do a couple today and then leave it a little while and do some more. But anyway, I wanted to share something with you that I learned on the African continent. And it was a story that someone told me of a brother by the name of Kwaku. Now Kwaku was a hunter and he used to hunt for his family. So he went out one day and he went to the bushes and he was hunting. He hunted basically all day. It took him a long time to get anything to bring back. And you know, hunters don't like to come back without anything. So he went almost into the early evening before dawn. It's before dusk, should I say. He was hunting. Anyway, on his way back, he realized that he could cut across the plains to get to his village, or he could go the long way round the bush. Now the long way around the bush would have taken him hours, and to cut through the plain, across the plain, would have taken him probably about 30 minutes. But the problem was that you didn't really want to get caught in the dark on the plain. You'd be better off going round the bush because you stand more chance if you're a hunter. Out in the open, you really have nowhere to hide. You have nothing to climb on. So he thought about it and said to himself, you know something, I can make this. I'll get there before dark. So he starts walking on the plain and he's moving across the plain. And eventually he starts to hear something rustle behind him. He looks behind him, he doesn't see anything, and he keeps moving, hears it again, doesn't see anything. But within no time, for some reason that evening, the night seemed to be coming down really quickly. And he looks behind after hearing a rustling, and he sees two eyes shining in the light, almost like the moonlight that was, you know, coming out. And he sees these two eyes. He knows, he's a hunter, he knows this is not a good sign. So he starts to run. He starts to pick up the pace. The eyes start coming behind him. He starts to hear the pounding of the feet. He looks around, he's hearing the pounding of the feet. He's moving quicker, he's hearing the pounding of the feet. Eventually, as he's moving, he looks around again, he hears the sound is coming closer and closer, and he stumbles over something. As he stumbles over something, he falls forward and then he rolls onto his back. As he rolls onto his back, that which he saw was a lion. Now he was looking up towards the lion as it jumped right over the thing he stumbled over and was about to pounce on him. And just in a gasp of you know, fear and aspiration and whatever you want to call it, just a gasp, he said, "Why me? You know, why me?" And the lion, before pouncing on him, spoke back and said, "It's your dream, so it's up to you how this ends." Now that's a story, basically, you know, an African proverb story, basically saying that in our dreams, we create characters. Our mothers, our fathers, sometimes they've passed on. We create characters, our sisters or somebody else, or even people we don't know, or people we've seen just for 5 minutes or 5 seconds. And we create these characters, but all of the characters that we create are actually us. They're not really our mother, and they're not really our father. They're us playing the part of our mother, our father, our sister, our brother. We are all one playing. We are playing all those parts, but because we have pictures in our face of how our mother speaks and how she looks, or how my father looks, or how our sister looks, we think it's them, because that's what we're doing. We're literally playing the part, and in our minds, that's what dreams are. The reason I bring that up is because if you know anything about the Indian subcontinent, yeah, you'll know that they have something in the Indian subcontinent, in the Hindu ideology, called Maya. And the Maya is that dream state. Now, in their understanding, all this life that we're living is actually a dream. It's a dream, as they say, in the mind of God. But to them, that God is not an abstract God. That God is you. You are part of that Godhead, having that dream about yourself. It sounds absolutely crazy. But it only sounds crazy if I hadn't told you the story before. Because in your dream, it's almost everybody who ever had a dream, especially a nightmare dream, your heart starts to beat. You know, you could even wake up sweating. You wake up, you're frightened. It's only when you wake up that you realize you were dreaming. Yeah, that's the time you know you were dreaming. To you, it was as real as they come. And if that wasn't the case, they wouldn't have such a thing as in quotes wet dreams, where people have wet dreams as if they're in a sexual encounter and they actually have a wet dream in their bed. How does that happen? That happens because the person thought in their consciousness that wasn't actually happening to them, and the person was actually with them, even though it was all in the mind. That's how the Maya concept comes from. And I bring this up because it reminds me of a record by Black Uhuru, the reggae group in the 80s. They had an international album which did pretty well, and they had a thing called "What Is Life? Life Is a Dream." It's a big tune, you know, in its time. You know, I don't know how many people remember that, but that was Black Uhuru. It's the same thing. We're all saying the same thing. People talk about law of attraction, law of assumption, law. These are all concepts of some kind of dream state that is outside of your consciousness. I mean, the Matrix is saying the same story. If you look, the Matrix is a dream. You're plugged into the machine, but at the time you're plugged into the machine, they're all lying on tables. They're all like they're in a dream state. Again, the same thing spoken over and over again. Just keeps going on and on and on. So the reason I'm bringing it up today is because I thought I'd talk about it, because if we're in some kind of dream state, and people will say, but how can all these terrible things that happen? But if you have a dream, yeah, if you have a dream, terrible things happen in that dream. People can die in that dream. People can be mutilated and raped. Anything can happen in your dream the same way. So it's not because you see things happening in this consciousness that you can say, well, how can it be a dream when it actually really happened? It's the concept. The concept is it's really happening because you don't know you're in a dream. Just as the person who's in a wet dream, he's in some harem with about 20 women. Maybe he's dreaming about 20 women and he's having the time of his life. He thinks he is in that actual harem. He has no consciousness. It's not real. If he did, he wouldn't be able to have a wet dream. It'd be impossible. We wouldn't be able to have nightmares. We wouldn't be able to wake up, shaking. We wouldn't be able to sweat and say, oh my God, I had a terrible dream last night. We say terrible dream because we only know it was a dream when we wake up. So the Maya consciousness is that when people pass out, that they come into the waking state as they pass out of this state. And that's when they realize that the veil, maybe that Christ was talking about, that you see for a veil, not so well at the moment. Maybe that's what he was talking about. It sounds very Maya-like if you understand the consciousness of that. I'm only bringing these things up because these are things that make you twig your thinking. Because if there was such a thing, then the terror and the belief that we have that everything around us that's happened to us is really bad, or it's happened to us or happening around us is really bad, can actually start to fade away a little bit, because you'll know that at some point it's not as real as you think it is. That's just something to think about. Live for Love TV brings you a little bit different consciousness, a little bit different law of attraction, a little bit different. And as I said, because it's in the law of assumption, the law of attraction, and all of these mysteries you hear coming out now, all of these are really talking about dream states that you can literally twig by somehow getting out of the dream state into your higher consciousness and then bringing back into the dream state. That's what they're really talking about. And that's why it's so hard to do, because most people don't realize that if there is a higher consciousness, that would be the consciousness that's actually outside of the dream state. Anyway, take a think about it. Live for Love TV, back with you as soon as I can.
People, one step more, one step more, one step more, one step more, until you reach your goals. One step more. This is Live for Love.